Jonathan Roumie is the heart of The Chosen. His portrayal of Jesus has carried the emotional weight of every season, made us cry, made us believe, and now he's leaving. Not in a few years, sooner than we ever imagined. Behind the scenes, something has been brewing, something fans haven't fully noticed until now. Jenkins just confirmed it. Jonathan's time is running out. But why is he stepping away from the role that defined his life? And what does this mean for the future of The Chosen? The truth is far more personal and painful than anyone expected. Jonathan Roumie never expected to become the global face of Jesus before The Chosen. He was a working actor known only in small circles, with scattered roles in film and television. But when Jenkins cast him as Jesus, everything changed. His calm presence, his eyes full of compassion, and his quiet power made people stop and feel something deep. Jonathan didn't just act, he became the role. Millions of viewers didn't just see a performance, they connected to something spiritual, something vulnerable, something human. And that's exactly what made Jonathan different. He didn't treat this like a job, he treated it like a calling. But that calling came at a cost. From the very beginning, Jonathan admitted that playing Jesus was emotionally heavy. He had to carry the pain of the people Jesus healed, the sorrow of those who betrayed him, and the looming shadow of the crucifixion. While others in the cast were building arcs, Jonathan was carrying the weight of a soul. It took a toll, just professionally, but personally. He's spoken in interviews about the emotional burnout, the pressure to get every moment right, and the spiritual burden of becoming a figure so sacred to so many. And now, as The Chosen enters its most heartbreaking chapter, Jesus' arrest, trial, and crucifixion, Jonathan is being pushed to his limits. Season 5 is no ordinary season. It's the one that changes everything. This is where Judas's betrayal begins to unravel, where the disciples start to fall apart, and where the story begins to turn towards suffering. For Jonathan, this means portraying Jesus in his most vulnerable, most broken state. The joy and miracles of earlier seasons are giving way to anguish and sacrifice. According to Jenkins, Jonathan is walking into the most emotionally difficult material the series has ever attempted. And that's saying something. Behind the scenes, the crew is preparing for long hours, emotionally raw scenes, and a performance that could drain anyone. And for Jonathan, who's already been carrying this weight for 5 seasons, it may be too much. Jenkins recently confirmed what many feared. Jonathan Roumie's journey as Jesus is limited. He will not be a part of the Chosen universe forever. In fact, after the original series ends with Season 7, Jonathan's presence will disappear from live action altogether. Jenkins was clear Jonathan will continue voicing Jesus in animated spin-offs, but his physical role is coming to an NOI because the pressure is real. Jenkins knows what this role is doing to Jonathan, and he wants to protect him before it's too late. But it still stings. The fans are heartbroken. Many believe no one else can play this role, and they might be right. Jonathan's performance is not just another version of Jesus, it's the version for millions. The way he smiles at children, the way his voice breaks when he prays, the gentle way he reaches out to the lost, these are the moments that have defined The Chosen. Without him, there's a hole, and that's the tragedy at the center of this story. The very thing that made Jonathan so powerful in the role, the emotional vulnerability. The spiritual connection is also what's forcing him to walk away. It's not about money, it's not about fame, it's about survival. Mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Because the crucifixion is not just a story, it's an experience Jonathan must live through as an actor. And it's going to break him. Even now, before filming has finished, fans are already grieving. And Jonathan, he's preparing to give everything he has left in Season 5 and 6. Jenkins said they're pouring their souls into these final chapters. But fans should know, this isn't just a dramatic twist for TV, this is the end of an era. And when Jonathan walks off that set for the final time, it won't just be the end of a character, it will be the end of something bond between actor and audience that may never be repeated. And The Chosen will never be the same again. For most actors, a role is something you pick up and drop off at the end of a scene. But for Jonathan Roumie, playing Jesus has never worked that way. He didn't just memorize lines. He stepped into the heart of a man who changed the world and carried that responsibility day and night. When the cameras stopped rolling, the emotions didn't. The spiritual weight stayed with him. Imagine waking up every day, knowing you're not just acting, you're representing the savior of millions of believers. The pressure to be perfect, to stay humble, to live up to expectations. It's suffocating. And yet, Jonathan carried that burden season after season with grace. Until now. In recent interviews, Jonathan admitted that the emotional toll is real. Playing Jesus in the early seasons was intense but manageable. There were moments of light, joy, miracles, and connection. But now, the tone has shifted. Season 5 is darker. It deals with fear, loneliness, betrayal. The love that once flowed freely is now shadowed by hatred, political plots, and personal failures. Jesus is no longer just healing strangers, he's preparing to say goodbye to his closest friends. And Jonathan has to live through all of it, not as himself, but as the Son of God, fully divine and yet deeply human. That duality alone is enough to fracture even the strongest actor. And Jonathan has been holding it all in dot. The stress isn't just emotional, it's physical. Reports from the set suggest long shooting hours, emotionally demanding sequences, and brutal silence between takes. Jonathan has often isolated himself to stay in character, which means he's spending more and more time alone, burdened by the pain of what's coming. Cast and crew members have noticed the difference. He's quieter now, more internal, focused, and it's no mystery why. As Jesus' story reaches its darkest point, Jonathan is giving everything he has left. But the question remains, can he make it to the end? Dallas Jenkins has spoken openly about his respect for Jonathan and the immense pressure he faces. That's why he's already making plans to limit Jonathan's involvement after season 7. The upcoming animated shows will still feature Jonathan's voice, but Jenkins is intentionally keeping him out of any future live-action appearances. Not because Jonathan isn't capable, but because he's given too much already. And Dallas knows it. He sees the exhaustion in his eyes. He knows this role has changed Jonathan forever, and not all of those changes have been easy. Many fans wonder why Jonathan would agree to leave such a groundbreaking series. Why not just take a break and come back later? But the truth is more complex. For Jonathan, playing Jesus isn't something you can turn on and off. It's not a costume you remove at the end of the day. It seeps into your soul. And after years of carrying that emotional load, he knows there's a point where you have to stop, because if you don't, you lose yourself. In many ways, Jonathan has already sacrificed more than we know, and stepping away might be the only way to protect what's left, but let's not forget what he's accomplished. Jonathan Roumie didn't just play Jesus. He redefined him for a new generation. He gave people hope in a cynical world. He helped viewers reconnect with faith, with forgiveness, with grace. His eyes spoke volumes. His voice brought peace. And when he wept, we wept too. There's a reason so many fans are heartbroken at the news of his departure, because they didn't just love the character, they loved him. And yet, even in his exit, Jonathan remains faithful. Faithful to the story, faithful to the role, faithful to himself. He's committed to giving us the most powerful, heartbreaking, unforgettable performance of his life in the final 2 seasons. And after that, he's trusting that the legacy he helped build will live on through animation, through the other disciples' stories, and through every person whose life was touched by the chosen. But for us, the clock is ticking. Every moment we see Jonathan on screen now matters more than ever, because soon those moments will be memories. And the actor who changed the world by showing us the heart of Christ will finally lay that role to rest. As The Chosen moves deeper into season 5, the atmosphere around the show has completely changed. This is no longer the peaceful ministry in Galilee. This is the storm before the crucifixion. The betrayal is coming. And that betrayal doesn't just belong to Judas, it belongs to everyone who walked away. Everyone who doubted, everyone who watched Jesus suffer and still chose silence. For Jonathan Roumie, portraying this chapter isn't just emotionally painful, it's because for the first time in the show, Jesus won't be surrounded by love. He'll be surrounded by fear, confusion, and abandonment. And Jonathan has to show us the full weight of that heartbreak. From the inside out. Every glance, every word, every breath in season 5 carries a heaviness. Now, we already know the end of the story, but The Chosen isn't rushing to it. It lingers in the tension. And Jonathan, as Jesus, has to live every second of that tension. He has to look Judas in the eyes and show compassion, even knowing what's coming. He has to break bread with the traitor and still offer him love. He has to be arrested like a criminal while carrying the heart of God. These are the scenes that will define the entire series. And Jonathan can't fake any of it. That's what makes it so brutal. Behind the scenes, everyone knows this season is pushing him to the edge. Cast members have hinted at the intense emotions on set scenes that leave the crew in tears. Moments so raw that people have to step away just to breathe. and Jonathan is at the center of it all. He's absorbing the emotional chaos, channeling it into his performance, and still trying to keep himself whole. It's no wonder Dallas Jenkins made the difficult decision to limit his involvement after season 7. He sees what this role is doing to Jonathan. And while the fans are begging for more, Dallas is protecting the man who gave them everything. But Jonathan's challenge isn't just emotional, it's spiritual. Playing Jesus in the scenes of betrayal, suffering, and crucifixion forces him to wrestle with the deepest parts of his own faith. He has to confront questions that have no easy answers about justice, sacrifice, pain, and forgiveness. He has to show the humanity of Jesus while honoring his divinity. That balance is almost impossible. And yet, Jonathan has done it beautifully, until now. Because in this final arc, there's no safety net. There's only darkness. And Jonathan has to carry that darkness with dignity. Even the audience feels it. Every teaser, every leak, every word from Dallas Jenkins points to one thing. Season 5 will break us. And Jonathan's performance will be at the center of that heartbreak. We're about to watch him suffer like never before. And we'll believe every second of it because we've spent years walking beside him. He made us care. He made us connect. And now, he's going to make us weep. But let's not forget what this means for Jonathan behind the scenes. After years of emotional investment, his mental health is stretched thin. The anxiety, the pressure, the expectations, it's overwhelming. He's talked about needing prayer, about relying on his faith just to survive the hardest scenes. And with the crucifixion coming soon, the stakes are higher than ever. This isn't just another role ending. This is a spiritual journey reaching its most painful conclusion. And for Jonathan, stepping away isn't just necessary, it's merciful. Still, there's a sense of fear among fans. The Chosen without Jonathan, it feels unthinkable. His face has become iconic. His voice has become a comfort. And soon, it will all be gone. Yes, he'll still voice Jesus in the upcoming animated projects, but we won't see him anymore. Not like this, not in the flesh. Not with that quiet strength in his eyes. And for many, that loss is already starting to hurt. The truth is, Jonathan Roumie's portrayal of Jesus was never meant to last forever. It was a moment in time, a sacred moment. And maybe that's what makes it so powerful. Knowing it will end makes every second more meaningful. We only have a few more seasons to witness something that has changed the lives of millions. And then, the man who gave Jesus a face for our generation will step back into the shadows. But he won't be forgotten, because what Jonathan has done on The Chosen will echo long after the credits roll. He showed us love in the middle of pain. He showed us grace when the world offered none. And as we prepare to say goodbye, we do so with gratitude, because no matter what comes next, Jonathan Roumie already gave us everything. We're now in the part of the story where everything begins to fall apart. Both in the world of The Chosen and for Jonathan Roumie himself, the crucifixion is no longer a distant event on the horizon. It's close. The betrayal has begun. The leaders in Jerusalem are plotting, the disciples are afraid and confused. And Jonathan, as Jesus, is caught in the middle of it, all carrying the full weight of destiny, knowing what's coming, and still choosing love. It's in this space, between obedience and agony, that Jonathan is delivering the most intense performance of his life. But make no mistake, he is nearing his breaking point. Jonathan's physical and mental exhaustion is becoming more visible. It's not just acting fatigue, it's something deeper. He's been living this role for over 5 years. Every expression, every gesture, every word he speaks in the show is filtered through the enormous responsibility of portraying not just a man, but the Son of God. And now, with the most brutal scenes ahead, Jonathan has no room to hide, no easy moments, no soft endings. From here on out, every scene is either painful, devastating, or completely soul-crushing. And he's giving it all, not holding back, because he knows this is the end. Dallas Jenkins has confirmed that the final seasons will not sugarcoat anything. The emotional trauma Jesus endures, the rejection, the mockery, the violence will be shown in full. And that means Jonathan has to relive all of it. He'll have to carry a cross, face the scorn of the crowd, look into the eyes of his disciples as they abandon him. He'll have to scream in pain, fall to his knees, and die on screen. Not just once, but over and over through retakes, rehearsal, and days of filming. And it's not just acting, it's a real, brutal emotional process that will drain any human being to their core. This is why the production has made changes behind the scenes. Jonathan's shooting schedule has been adjusted. Private prayer spaces have been set up on set, Cast and crew have rallied to protect his emotional well-being because this isn't just a job anymore. It's a spiritual war zone. And the people closest to Jonathan know what this role is doing to him. Even fans have started to notice. He's less present on social media. His interviews are more reflective, more serious. You can feel it in his voice. He's preparing to say goodbye. And yet, despite all the pressure, Jonathan has not stepped away yet. He's staying. He's finishing what he started. Why? Because he knows this isn't just the climax of the series. It's the moment the entire world has been waiting for. The Chosen has always been about love, mercy, and redemption, but it all leads here to the cross. And Jonathan wants to be there to carry it no matter the cost. He's made it clear that these final moments are not just the end of a show, they are a sacred responsibility. He wants to honor them with everything he has left. But there's something haunting about it too, knowing that this is his last major performance as Jesus changes how we watch every scene. Every word Jonathan says now has a finality to it. Every prayer he speaks feels like a farewell. And when the crucifixion comes, we won't just be watching the end of Jesus' earthly ministry. We'll be witnessing the final chapter of Jonathan Roumie's journey in this role. A journey that has inspired millions, saved lives, and brought new light into the world. And once that moment is filmed, it's over. Jonathan won't return for future live-action spin-offs. He won't appear in any post-resurrection projects or future flashbacks. The show will continue through animation, through other characters, through new stories, but that face, that voice, that presence will be gone, and no one can replace it. This is what makes the loss so heavy. We aren't just losing a character, we're losing a once-in-a-generation portrayal. Jonathan Roumie didn't just act, he transformed. He became a symbol of grace, compassion, and strength for a generation hungry for hope. And while the animated versions will continue, the emotional connection we have with the live-action Jesus, the human Jesus, will end with him. That's the truth, Dallas Jenkins confirmed. That's what we have to prepare for. We only have 2 seasons left. 2 seasons before the screen fades to black, and Jonathan walks away for the final time. And as much as we want him to stay, we understand why he can't. This role took everything from him: heart, soul, mind, and strength. And now, he has to rest. He has to heal. He has to let go. As The Chosen moves toward its final act, fans around the world are bracing for the moment they've long dreaded. Jonathan Roumie's last portrayal of Jesus, it's not just another actor wrapping a role. It's the end of a spiritual journey, for him and for us. And that's what makes it so painful. From the first miracle in Season 1 to the final words on the cross in Season 7, Jonathan's Jesus has carried more than the storyline. He's carried our hope, our questions, our faith. And when he walks away, a part of this world we've come to cherish walks away with him. Dallas Jenkins has made it official: once The Chosen ends its main story, Jonathan's live-action role ends with it. There will be no spin-offs, no resurrection scenes featuring his physical presence, no surprise cameos in future projects. His presence will live on only in voice, in animation. And while that's something, it's not the same, because we didn't just connect to the voice. We connected to the eyes, the hands, the sorrowful expressions, the tender smiles. Jonathan's physical performance, the stillness, the tears, the warmth. That's what changed lives. And we will never see that again. So what happens next? What happens when The Chosen says goodbye to its Messiah? For Jonathan Roumie, it will be a moment of reflection and possibly relief. He's been carrying a weight most of us can't imagine. The mental toll, the pressure to represent Jesus with accuracy, the personal spiritual battles. It's been overwhelming. And yet, he stayed faithful through it all. He gave more than any actor should ever be asked to give. And in doing so, he transformed a role into a calling. But now, that calling is reaching its final chapter. The final seasons will be brutal. The cross is coming. The betrayal, the trial, the suffering. It will break us. But it will also elevate Jonathan's performance to a place no actor has gone before. Because this isn't just tragedy, it's triumph through agony. Jonathan knows the story ends in victory, but to get there, he has to descend into darkness. And he's ready to do it. Not for fame, not for applause, but because he believes in the story. He believes in the truth behind it, and he wants to honor it no matter the cost. For the fans, this goodbye will be one of the hardest we've faced. The Chosen has been more than a series. It's been a lifeline for many, something to hold on to in times of confusion and pain. And Jonathan Roumie, through his gentle portrayal of Jesus, has been at the center of that lifeline. He made us feel seen. He made us feel loved. And now, he's stepping back. And we don't know what comes next. Will he continue acting? Will he disappear from the spotlight? Or will he carry this experience into something new? Something just as powerful, only time will tell. But one thing is certain, Jonathan's legacy is sealed. No matter where he goes, no matter what he chooses next, his portrayal of Jesus will never be forgotten. It will be studied, cherished, revisited for decades. It will live in the hearts of those who were changed by it, and in a world full of temporary fame and forgotten faces. That kind of legacy is rare. So as we prepare for the final 2 seasons, let's not rush past the moments. Let's soak them in. Let's remember what this journey has meant. Let's cherish every word Jonathan speaks, every step he takes, every tear he sheds. Because soon, the story will end. The cross will rise. The screen will go dark, and the actor who brought Jesus to life for millions will take his final bow. We may not be ready to let him go, but maybe that's the point. Maybe the most powerful stories are the ones that leave us longing, hoping, and remembering. And Jonathan Roumie in The Chosen gave us exactly that, a story worth remembering, a performance worth grieving, and a Jesus we'll never forget. For more updates on Jonathan's legacy and the final days of The Chosen, don't forget to like, share, and stay with us. This journey isn't over yet, but the end is near, and it's going to change everything.